into it, and we'll go from there. Guys, good morning and welcome to another awesome webinar, and hope everyone's going extremely well on this day. Guys, today we're going to talk about maximizing your business value, and we've got a guest speaker on the call today that's going to help us understand from a business broker or a business seller's point of view on what they look for when maximizing a business. And I've known this speaker for quite a while now, and I'll go through that in a minute. How I know Kay, but ideally, business is there to provide you with, I guess, a lifestyle would be a good way to put it. And today, hopefully, we can show you ways of improving that lifestyle or setting your business up for its end game might be a good one. So, guys, to kick off here, what I'm going to do, let me just get my screen all sorted. There we go. So, welcome. If you've got your emails or your Facebook in the background and all of that, try and keep attention. I'm sure you're going to get some powerful things out of today. And like I normally say on my webinars, is this webinar is designed to give you great insights into your business value, and we take full responsibility for the positive changes to your business after implementation of these learnings. So, guys, our aim is for you to get something out of it. If you've done my webinars before, we love to have some feedback. So you can raise your hands over in this area. Can I get everyone to raise their hands? Make sure they can hear me okay. Just raise your hands there. Excellent. And if you actually click it really fast up and down, that's giving people a round of applause. So yay! Thanks, Rebecca. Morning, Zora. Hope you're well, guys. And I'm going to get you to ask some questions on answering some questions. So just write them down in the bottom section of the questions box there, and we can go from there. So love the interaction. If you do have any questions, I do keep up with what's happening throughout this. So, on each page, I'll look over to see if anyone's got any questions, and we'll answer them from there. Quite simply, guys, let me just quickly, and this is going to be really quick because I'm looking at the people on the call, and most of you guys, have known me. If this is your first webinar with me, quite simply, I've been doing this, it feels like forever. As you can see, I've got no hair. So I've been in small business for a very, very long time. But ultimately, I run a couple of businesses. My business strategy company, Black Belt Business. I also run a martial arts school as well. Have about 130 students down there at Vicky Point that keeps me occupied during the evenings. And I just effectively love educating people, and I guess that's really me in a nutshell. How did I fall into what I'm doing today? Was quite simply, I've been lucky enough to have the experience to sell a business in the past when I was much younger. And effectively, I grew a business to a point where I was working 80 to 90 hours a week in it. I still remember balancing a client's bank rec at 3 o'clock in the morning on the side of my bed with my eyes popping out of my head, until I actually worked out that there were people out there that could actually help me from doing that. So I put on a business coach back in, I think, about 2006, 2005, around then, and he helped me grow my business. I'm a Sydneyite, so please don't hold that against me. I don't want to lose everyone on there, but I moved to Brisbane and I grew my business that I was running back then up into Brisbane, and effectively, I just had that feeling one day that I woke up going, you know what, this business isn't for me. I don't want it. I had something like 12 staff and a few contractors, and I just went, this is not fulfilling what I actually want to do. I love education. I love teaching, and I want to do more than what my business coach did for me. So effectively, I sold my business to a competitor, and effectively took that money and invested in education in myself and become the business strategy I am today. So that's a quick bit about me. So I've definitely had experience on how to maximize your business value, been through the sales process myself, and it's actually a great thing to do. Now, guys, can I get you to just whack in the questions? What would you like from today? If there was one thing that we could actually get you clear on today, what would that be? I just want to make sure you guys get value out of today. So, what would be the value that you're actually going to get? If you could just write in the questions, that would be fantastic for me. just in the questions. And they'll start coming through in a minute. What would you like to get out of today's webinar? How to maximize your business. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Kay. Kay, who's going to do the presenting shortly. She wants to get feedback on her presentation, and yes, we will get it. You want to be a bit more organized. Thank you, Zora. Totally and utterly agree. I think structure is one of the most important keys on business. And for the people who are on my Monday motivation yesterday, they really understand the importance of routine. What specific things they look at for that we should be optimizing for selling a business, and also any clauses needed to put in the sale with regards to restriction of future businesses. Thanks, JC. That's great. Know what you don't know. I love that point. And time management and structure. Guys, I know you're probably going to keep filling them in. Absolutely happy to actually work through all of them. And, it's funny. There's 4 people that's come back with time management or productivity and all of that. So very much a big key for small businesses, considering we're going to talk about one of the points is, you as a business owner, if you want to maximize your value, shouldn't be working in the business. So we're actually going to talk about that as well. So let's move on. I'm going to give you a quick poll, guys, and I want you to have a think about now where your business is at and what you're actually going to do. So let me just get my polls up. Let me get it there. There it is there. And let me go launch. Now, this poll is, what is your end game for your business? Or if you can see into the future, what do you plan to do with your business? What is it that you'd actually like to have happen to your business? What is the actual plan? If you can just click on that and let me know. Okay. Okay, 40% of us have voted with everyone that's on the line. 71% voted. All right, let's try and get 85% this morning, guys. A couple more people, if you can just vote for me, just click on what you'd like to do. All right, I probably need 2 more. Yay! 86 people have voted. All right, 5 more seconds. Oh, we're almost to 100%. Okay, let me just close that poll. Now, this is actually quite interesting on the results of what we're actually trying to achieve here. And I guess ideally, let me just share those results with you. Ideally, 85% of you guys on the call would like to have it where you can just take a passive income. Someone is running your business for you. Someone is sitting there and actually, doing all the work for you, and you don't even have to turn up to work. 8% would just love to sell it, and 8% would love to have a corporate takeover or competition buy you out, which is actually so possible, guys. And isn't it interesting on where people perceive what can actually happen with their business? And I love doing these polls because sometimes they surprise me, and other times they just go, you know what, that's exactly what I actually see out in the marketplace. And, talking to all of my clients, I know that most of them would love to actually set it up just to have a passive income. And I'm going to take you through a bit of that stuff now in regards to what we're talking about. And before we actually get Kay on the line, I just want to preempt you on a couple of points that's so important on business. And yesterday I do a Monday motivation for all my clients every Monday fortnight, and we go through reminders and tips and tricks and all of that type of stuff. And it's amazing that yesterday I talked about structure and routine in yesterday's Monday Motivation. I think that's one of the biggest keys for business to actually get into. But I think we always need to be reminded on one important aspect. You're in business for. If you had to answer that question, can you whack in the comments and tell me if you had to finish that question? You're in business for blank. What is it? What is it you're in business for? Why did you get into business, or why are you actually working your butt off day in, day out for business? What is that? Let's fill in the blanks on that and tell me what you're in business for, guys. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Karen. To make money and help people, love that. Freedom. To help people, excellent. Yep, excellent. Being able to work in your own energy space, brilliant. Lifestyle and income. Thank you, Rachel. That's a great point. Financial freedom and travel the world. Support my family and love what I do. And guys, if you don't know me, to be your own boss, excellent, Sarah. Being your own boss is awesome. Problem with being your own boss is no one's there to hold you accountable on a lot of stuff that we probably need to be held accountable to. Um, and no boss there for David as well. Um, the freedom to give and take with my choice. Absolutely, Kevin. That is so true as well. You know what, guys? And I think they're all very valid points, and I think you really need to hang on to them. But at the end of the day, me being my blunt self, we need to remove a lot of that stuff and get down to the core reasons why we're in business for, and that is purely to generate an income or generate money. You guys aren't a charity, but sometimes we actually help people out way too much, which makes us feel good inside, which is brilliant. But reality is sometimes we lose the opportunities of making money. And your business there is just another asset. And I'm I want to be careful. I want to take away emotion, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. But I want to take that all away and just get down to the core items of a business. If you had to sell your business, do you think the person buying your business is going to be looking at it from helping all your awesome clients out? Do you think they're going to be looking at your business when they're buying it to see a fulfilling need for themselves, or do you think they'd be looking at it to purchase an asset, to make some money, to generate a money? And this is why it's important when we actually do this webinar. We need to take a lot of that emotional stuff, a lot of that the need and internal fulfilling, and bring it back down to ideally the more money that your business is making, the more you're actually going to be able to sell your business for. And I'm sure Kay is going to go over this a lot more, and she may disagree or not agree, but effectively we need to bring it back to the core function of what your business is there for. And maybe it just sounds a bit materialistic, but you guys, if you went and just invested in an investment property, a real estate property, you know what? It's amazing that that decision to do that is more of a money decision, not an emotional decision. You're not fussed if the carpet's 100% pristine. You're not fussed if there's a hole in the wall or the painting needs to get done. You just purely have it sitting there as an asset. And we all know that buying an investment property is a long term investment strategy, and so is business. Business will always be a long term investment strategy, no matter what. So, guys, the key thing that I want you to have a look at when we're actually doing this webinar, and the biggest challenge that we have in business is the emotion that we actually put into it. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, guys. I really ain't, because you know what? If you're emotionless when running your business, you'll probably find that you don't have the customers that you actually have. But we've also got to bring it back to reality, and business is just purely an asset that can either be sold later on or can actually be used as a passive income. And that's what I want you to focus on today with the things that we're actually going to go through, and that's extremely important. The other thing that I want you to think about, and this is another challenge that us as business owners have, is the level of customer service that we actually give. A couple of things, and a reason why a lot of unsuccessful people buy a business and don't go so well is because they don't care as much about their customers as what you more than likely do. They buy the business, and next thing you know, the business goes down backwards because effectively they don't give the same passion and care that you guys have been giving in business. And this goes back to what we were talking about before about business being an actual asset. But the biggest challenge that sometimes for our business, we actually give too much good customer service. And, I really talked about this a couple of webinars ago, and I really want to reiterate this point with you guys, is sometimes giving too much customer service is actually a detriment to your business, especially if you wanted to sell it. We've got to have a look at, if you're giving 5-star service for 2-star rates, effectively we're not able to sustain that, or your business isn't going to grow as fast because you're not making the money with the amount of effort that you're putting in. So one of the things we need to have a look at is how do we actually set your business up where you're giving, 4-star service for maybe free star rates. And this is very, very important to actually understand. If you are giving 5-star service away to people, and you're charging 5-star rates, then you've got it 100% right. But you know what? A lot of people don't believe in themselves enough or their business enough to actually be able to do that. And it's only a few that are able to actually do that. So, sometimes we have to reduce our customer service to actually provide a better money return at the end of the day. And you know what? Most people won't actually miss that additional customer service at the end. So these are some things that we actually want to look at. Remember, everything that we're talking about today, I want you to be objective about this. This is stuff that I want you to take away the emotion and just purely look at your business as a separate entity that you don't have invested emotion in, that it is purely a asset that you need to actually sell off very, very quickly. So I'm not going to waffle on too much anymore. I told Kay I'd have 15 minutes at the beginning, so I've gone 1 minute over. So I'm going to introduce you to the wonderful Kay Bielenberg from Benchmark Business Brokers. I've known Kay now for, I'm going to say, about 6 years. Could have even been a bit longer than that. Kay might be able to, help me on that one. And I actually, Kay was a client of mine in her own business, and I jumped in there and actually helped her over a period of around 2 years grow their business and be able to do some of the stuff that you're actually going to be talking about today. And Kay's been lucky enough to go and sell her business off and go and do what she actually loves. So, which is helping business owners sell their business. She loved the selling process so much that she actually went out there and is now helping businesses sell their business. And I'll let you, Kay, to tell you a bit more about herself and where she got to there. So let me just unmute Kay. Let me just go there. All right, Kay, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Good morning, everyone. It's
Excellent.
an
Over to
absolute
you.
pleasure to be here and talk to you all.
Excellent. Over to you, Kay.
Yes,
All yours.
yes, thanks to you, Nathan, over the couple of years that we did business coaching has got me to where I am today, and that's helping business owners sell their business, which is after almost 12 months off, something I'm very passionate about. So I look forward to sharing with you 12 tips, as long as we've got, as time permits, of selling your business and maximising the sale. Firstly, we'll get into tip number one. Everyone says to me, how much will I get for my business? It's about setting the price. You can only sell your business once. You don't get a second chance, and you can't go back and do it again. So you want to get the best price possible that the market will pay. Later on, we will talk about how to do that. But before we look at how to get the best price, you need to think about how to set the right price for your business. Remember that most buyers want to pay the right price. This does not mean that they want to pay as little as possible. In fact, most buyers feel suspicious if the business is too cheap. Buyers feel more comfortable if they pay what they think is a fair price. If you think about it, if someone offers you a new Ferrari for $10,000, you immediately think, what's wrong with it? Of all the things that determine how long it takes to sell a business, it's not clever marketing or internet or referral or anything else. It's the price. So getting the right price is critical. The first few weeks of marketing a business are critical. If the price is too high, you'll have a stall start. To avoid a poor start, you need to properly and accurately estimate the value of the business. Estimating business value is a skill learnt over many years. Only experienced, competent professionals can capably evaluate the value of your business. A business is not worth what you owe the bank or what you need to pay off debt. It's worth what the market will pay. But there is a way to get the market to pay more, which we'll look at shortly. It may be necessary to get several professional opinions of the value of your business, as only one may be too high or another too low. It is worth taking the time to get the price right at the start. If you have an independent business valuation done, you will be able to use the valuation to provide justification for your selling price. This technique will eliminate negotiation on price from the buyer, and the cost of the valuation will be more than recovered in your selling price. And just heading into tip number 2.
Before we do that, Kay, can we just literally, guys, it's interesting regarding pricing and how much your business is worth. It's like anything. We can look at our business and say, oh, wow, I'm making a whole heap of money. And, the next buyer will come along and go, hey, I think my business is worth $1 million. But reality is when you actually get advice, you'll probably find that the business may be worth half, if not more than that. And,
Yeah,
pricing and valuing a business is very, very important. I know, Kay, especially when you sold your business a while ago, you guys had an expectation of what you're actually going to sell it for, but that expectation wasn't exactly where your business was really valued at, was it?
that's correct. Yes, you start off high, and then sometimes you price yourself out of the market, which
Mhm.
we went through that, and at the end of the day, it was really what the buyer was prepared to pay for it, and how well we presented the business.
Yep. And you actually were lucky enough to buy this business. So you've been through both sides of the coin. You actually purchased your old business from somebody, and then you effectively sold the same business. What was the time frame between how long you actually sold and you bought and sold?
The time frame was around 8 years,
Yep.
and initially we bought the business to, I guess, buying a job. And through coaching with you, Nathan, we realised that a business is something that you, you get into to grow and ultimately sell. And we went down that path, and were fortunate enough to take the advice and yeah, sell the business.
So in 8 years, and this is probably, you can tell me to bugger off with this question, but how much did you increase the value over 8 years of your business?
The turnover increased 3 times the initial turnover when we bought the business, and by the end, it was triple turnover, triple profit. Another funny thing was we had 14 staff at one stage, and we reduced the staff down to 7
Yep.
and made more money with 7 than 14.
Wow. Incredible. And that was by putting the systems in place and everything you needed to.
That's correct.
Yep.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, let's keep moving on to tip number 2.
Okay, I'll stop after each tip, and you can have
Absolutely.
your tip there, Nathan. Okay, tip number 2: look at your business through buyer's eyes. Now, it's amazing what you will see and what you can learn about your business when you look at it through the eyes of a buyer. Have a look at your business and what you have to offer. Think about what a buyer is looking for and what they will find if they look at your business. Here are a few things that a buyer is looking for. Uh, all buyers want to pay the right price, to be told the truth, future security, transparent accounts, single management and operation, not to have to invest more in repairs and upgrades, a good presentation, no reliance on key staff, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in tip 4, no reliance upon key customers or clients, and none of the 5 negatives, which is under tip number 3, which I'll go into shortly. So when you have a few minutes to look at your business from a different perspective, see if you can find simple ways that you can improve the presentation of your business. Can you ensure that your business gives a buyer some of the 10 points I just mentioned? First impressions count. Make sure that the buyer's first impression is a good one. We've all seen those TV shows where a work team comes in, spends a day or two renovating and tidying up the home to prepare it for sale, and then the sale price and the value is increased. The same thing applies to the value of your business. It can make a big difference to a buyer's first impression if the business looks neat, organised, and under control. Any
One
comments on
Yeah,
Nathan?
one of the things, guys, one of the best tips that I've ever got, and this is when I first started out in business myself, and I think this is a really good exercise for you guys to do, being at the beginning of the financial year. I'll be honest, if I was going out to buy a business now, my first questions is, how much time do you as a business owner work in the business, and how much money do you actually take home at the end of the day? And I think this is important for you to understand. And yeah, I sat down with an accountant when I first started business, and sat down and went, right. He's gone, how many hours do you work? And I mentioned to him about 80 to 90 hours a week. He's gone, great, here's your profit. This is how much salary you paid yourself. Excellent. You're working for $1.85 an hour. You know what? You might as well stop your business, shut the doors, and actually go work at McDonald's. And that was a huge realization for me that, if I was actually someone incoming to buy that business, it wouldn't actually be a great investment for that person to actually do it. So, I think that's a great exercise. And one of the targets or KPIs that you should be looking at in business is, how do you actually increase your hourly rate with the amount of work that you're actually doing? And that's extremely important exercise to do. And then if you look at that from a buyer's perspective, as this tip talks about, it's a lot easier to sit there and go, well, I only work 10 hours a week and I go and make, $200,000 a year. From a buyer's point of view, that's a very, very good business to actually be looking at.
Okay.
Go,
Tip
number
number
three,
three,
Kay.
the 5 negative attributes. Now, nearly every business will demonstrate at least one of the 5 negative attributes that causes buyers concern. Being aware of these negatives can assist you to prepare the business for sale and deal with any objections when the buyer raises them. So let's go through the 5 negative attributes. They are the need to carry large stock holding, the need to carry debtors, managing staff or relying upon key staff or the proprietor, long trading hours that Nathan just mentioned there, key product or client. Now, your business probably possesses at least one or two of these negatives, and working on these can make your business a more saleable option for many buyers simply by making some simple changes in these areas. For example, we had a large rural tyre dealership recently. The asking price was reasonable and the business was very profitable, but it held $850,000 worth of stock and carried over 200,000 of debtors. So after 25 years, the owner was the business. Professional advice was given to the owner that the business could not be sold until the stock holding was reduced, the debtors reduced, and his name taken off the business. By making these changes, the business sold for the asking price, and the buyers were able to easily manage the business and grow it into the future. So try to run your business with the lowest manageable amount of stock and keep your debtors under control and to the lowest possible level. A managed business is worth much more than an owner-operated business. And if you trade long hours, make sure it's beneficial and not a problem. Try and ensure that your business does not rely too heavily upon either one employee, the sale of only one or two products, or sales to only one or two clients. Buyers will feel negative about these nasty areas, but being aware, controlling these, you will help eliminate buyer resistance and move forward towards a successful sale. Would you like to add anything there, Nathan?
No, the guys. At the end of the day, we all know business. There's downfalls and all of that. One of the biggest things you need to actually be looking at, especially from the negative aspects, is do your due diligence on everything. I actually had a client for about 18 months that effectively purchased a business without doing their due diligence. And what they did is they looked at the profit, they looked at the revenue, purchased this store, and it was a retail store, but they didn't actually ask ask the right questions. They didn't actually get an accountant's advice. They looked at that saying, "Oh, we're going to make a hell of a lot of money," not realizing that the actual profit and loss in the sales revenue had a wholesale arm to the business, which was 60% of the business, and the store only earned 40%. So they were actually looking at two different things. So one of the things with those attributes, guys, and we'll give you a copy of what those are in detail, and Kay's notes that she's actually got there. We'll actually send you a copy of these out so you can see what they are. Is it's all about in business. Should you focus on your strengths or weaknesses? I believe you need to fix your weaknesses, but if you focus on your strengths more, that's what's going to actually be highlighted when you actually go to sell your business. So it's very important to actually do that. This is one of my favorite topics, Kay. So over to you on tip number 4.
Tip number 4, eliminate the key person. It's quite a challenge to do that, and I know we went through that. Okay, so what is a key person? Are you a key person? If you are a key person, you need to change things. Without realizing it, businesses often evolve and grow, and during this growth, the business owner's role will change. The owner knows how everything works, who all the customers are, and all the clients know the owner. The owner becomes the key person. The key person is the person that the business relies upon to operate smoothly. It may not necessarily be the owner who is the key person. It could be an employee or even a subcontractor. If a business cannot operate without one or more people, they are deemed to be a key person. So ask yourself, does any business rely upon a specific person to function normally? If your business relies upon a key person, you need to address this and make changes to enable you to be able to sell the business. That is, unless you sell the business to the key person. Often the business may have a manager or may rely upon the qualifications of one or more key personnel. This can make buyers nervous too, as they will think to themselves, what will I do if the manager leaves? So to eliminate these potential problems, you need to take yourself out of the business and ensure that the key staff are engaged on contracts that tie them to the business. This can be difficult and inconvenient, but it must be done. Generally speaking, there is a vastly reduced prospect of selling a business at the right price if the key person holds the whole enterprise together. You don't have to get rid of them or sack yourself. All that needs to be done is the business change to reduce the reliance upon that person or people. If your business trades under your own name, it may also be necessary to change the trading name to a more generic name quite a while before the business is offered for sale. So, for example, a business known as John Smith Electronics might benefit from a name change to something like Comet Electronics, therefore allowing the new owner to take over the business without an abrupt change and without having to operate under the name of the other person. Would you like to add anything to that,
Oh,
Matthew?
I'd love to add a million things to this. And guys, this is I'll be honest, this actually one item here is a webinar on itself. And remember, selling a business, a lot of people just don't wake up in the morning and says, bugger it, I'm going to go and sell my business. This is a long-term strategy at the end of the day. And effectively, what we've got to look at here, and I want you to be realistic about your business. And now it's time to probably take a bit of notes, guys. And I want you to be realistic about your business. Most service-based businesses are based on purely a cash flow-driven business. Ultimately, it would be very hard to sell a service-based business if you've got that unique service and knowledge that you're actually selling to people. So you've got to be realistic about the business. And for instance, I'll use Black Belt Business as a perfect example. My business is built on my knowledge, which means if I actually, got sick or I'm out of action for 3 months, I ain't going to get paid. It's just reality. So you've got to be realistic about, am I a cash flow purely only business, Or am I actually a product-based business where I can easily get myself out of it by putting people on to actually sell my product, or or even being able to duplicate that service? And I want you to be realistic about it. And it's really funny. I get a lot of points in there going, "Oh, you're a business strategist or a business coach, inverted commas, business instructor, business trainer, and all of that, but you're not practicing what you preach, which is, have a business that runs without you." Well, at the end of the day, I realize that my business is purely there for cash flow so I can invest it in other areas. And you've got to be realistic about what your business is there for. What is the ultimate purpose? And this is extremely important to actually understand on this point. You may not be able to get yourself out of the business. Is that okay? Absolutely. But is it generating the cash that you need to invest in maybe other areas or another business? Um, and be realistic about it. If you know it is purely a cash flow business, fantastic. Go and make the cash, go and hoard the cash, go and grow the cash, and then off you go from there. If you're in a business, for instance, that tire business that Kay was talking about, that's an easy business to actually get you out of fairly quickly and fairly efficiently, because there are other people in the marketplace that have the same skills, if not more skills, than what you've actually got. So be realistic about what your business is there for at this point in time. Now, let me take it one step further. Can I take black belt business to be able to be sold? Absolutely. You create IP, you create systems, you create stuff that's able to be duplicated easily out there. So if you've got a service-based business, very similar to myself, your aim is to actually duplicate your IP, get your IP out in the marketplace, become a trainer of trainers, or become the ability for people to be able to run with your system, or something to that effect. And that's where franchising and licensing really, really kicks in. So be realistic about where your business is at. This is not about just removing yourself. It's all about, what is my key business and what is it actually there to do? Is it there to generate me cash? Great, it's a cash only business. Fantastic. Realize that it's going to be very hard to sell later on. No, at the end of the day, if that's the case, you should be investing in other areas. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys, and this is important, so that you actually understand that. Now, I've got a couple of questions here. Point number 5, Rebecca, we're not up to point number 5 just yet. We're still on 4, but let me know or collaborate a bit more. How do you do that if you want, if you are selling as knowledge? Hopefully, Jason, that answered your question there. If you're selling knowledge, you've got to have IP. You've got to create the IP, and that's what you're actually going to be selling. That way, you will actually remove the key person. You actually, the IP is written down. You're removing yourself. The IP is now written down. So I hope that makes actually sense. And Karen, if you're losing sound, I apologize. Under tip number 3, what was point 5? Can I get back to you on that, Rebecca? What I'll do is I'll email that point out for you if that's okay. So, guys, eliminate the key person. I don't want you to look at it and say, I don't have to turn up to work every day. Have a look at it is, how do I actually make sure I've got a sellable asset, and it doesn't rely on me doing it? And that could be either having IP base if you're a service based company, being able to duplicate yourself, or franchising or licensing or something like that, especially if you're a service based business. If you're a product based business, I honestly believe that's the easiest one to get you out of the business fairly quickly. And Kay came from a service slash product based business, but at the end of the day, you could actually generate the products as a the service as a products as well, which is why it only took 2 years for working with Kay to be able to get it to a point of sale and remove them from the business, because it purely was a product base. So I guess that would be fair to say, wouldn't it, Kay?
Yeah, very fair to say.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
hopefully everyone's cool with that. Let's move on to the next point.
Tip number 5, I love this one. Put all revenue through the books. Uh, Commonly come across people who think, we'll, not put that through, or we'll put that deduction through, or whatever. It is so important to put everything through the books. Your sales. So some owners of small business are tempted to minimise taxation, but not putting all income into the bank, or through the books. So many years ago, this was thought to be a clever way to run a business and enjoy a little spending money and reduce tax. Not now. Today, it's simply more efficient and straightforward to declare all income and present a set of clean, transparent accounts to a buyer. If you want to get the best possible price for your business, there's no doubt that this is something that you will have to do. By maximising the income and profits shown on the accounts, the sale prices increases accordingly. There are two things that the business sellers often say to buyers that buyers will ignore, and that there's loads of potential here, and there is cash on top of these figures. These types of comments usually mean nothing to a buyer, their accountant, their solicitor, and their bank manager. So we recommend that you don't offer your business to a buyer on this basis. It simply carries no weight at all. A business buyer is relying upon the information provided by the seller to make an informed decision about buying that business. The credibility of the seller is a large factor in the buyer's decision. Your credibility is enhanced through the provision of comprehensive and accurate financial accounts. Concentrate your attention upon ensuring that your financial records are correct and accurate. We know this sounds boring and obvious, but it looks really bad to a buyer when you present a set of accounts and then offer all sorts of reasons and explanations for the way the accounts look. When selling a business, your financial accounts are going to be scrutinised by the buyer, their accountant, their solicitor, the bank manager, and all the so-called experts such as neighbours, father, brother, and best mates. Each time the accounts are scrutinised, these explanations start to wear a bit thin and cause suspicion and doubt to grow in the buyer's minds. Don't let this happen to you. Make sure the accounts are right. The best way to maximise value of your business is to have your business accounts ready for due diligence well before you're ready to sell. This will ensure that there'll be no problems with a sale when a suitable buyer is found. So
Guys,
that's tip 5.
yeah, I'll summarize that really easily. At the end of the day, getting cash jobs is fun, puts money in your pocket, your books don't look good, you minimize tax. But if you're planning to franchise, if you're planning to get your IP out there, licensing, if you're planning to sell, the sooner you actually put all revenue through the books, the better your business looks ultimately at the end of the day. And that's really just a summary. So be clear of your future plans. If you are planning to maybe franchise it later on, bring in some partners, and if you want people to buy into your business as partners and all of that, the more money that's in the books or the more revenue through the books, the better off it's going to be. So have a factor on that. Remember, this webinar is called Maximising Your Business Value, and putting all your revenue through cash jobs, etc., goes from there. If you just want to set it up as minimizing tax, fair enough. And I can give you I wonder if anyone's in the tax office on the line here. I hope not, but I know of someone who literally pulls in probably an extra $150,000 in cash, that may or may not, from a taxation's office point of view, go through the actual books. And it's great at the end of the day, but 150 grand extra on the bottom line could potentially be $500,000 on an actual sale. And I'm going to use the word potentially in terms of the rule of thumb type of situation. So, that is a lot of money when you actually think about it, especially if you go by rule of three of profit when selling the business. So, yeah, definitely put all the revenues. If your ultimate goal is to do that, if your ultimate goal is to have a passive income, then what you want to do for the books, I'll leave that for you and your creative accountant to work through. All right, tip number 6, Kay.
Just in addition, just in addition to that, when you do put everything through the books and it's nice and neat, we still can do what's called add backs. So if there's one-off, you paid the car out, there was a balloon payment of $7,000. They're what's called an add back. So these can be documented and pointed out to a potential buyer as well. So for those of you that catch up with me after this, I'm happy to explain more about how that works.
Yes, we want to be careful though. We can't go back and say, "Hey, I've just taken 100 grand in cash jobs," and we can't add those back in, okay? Because that would
No,
be a bit
I'm talking about
naughty, naughty.
increasing interest, that sort of thing that are unique to that that business owner that may be different to a new buyer.
Yep, correct.
Make sense?
Correct.
Okay. Now, tip number 6. How much will someone pay for your business? Okay. How much is any business worth? How much is your business worth? The simple answer is that a business is worth what the market will pay. This is also the legal definition of value. There are actually two ways to think about business value and how to maximize value. What creates value and how is value formally assessed? Value for any asset is determined through supply and demand. If supply is abundant, value is low. If supply is limited, value is increased. But we can create demand, and this is an important way to think about improving the value of your business in the market by increasing demand for that business. So how do you do that? We'll look at that in a later section. When considering how the formal value of a business is assessed, you need to start thinking about what kind of return a buyer expects from their investment. It is usual for buyers to want to receive a return of between 25% and 50%. So if a business is earning $100,000 a year, it should sell for between $200,000 and $400,000, which is a 50% return. This is known as the capitalization rate. So what determines the expected return? It is risk. So when looking at the value of your business, the next step is to consider the risk. If a business is considered to be really safe and relatively risk-free, a lower return of investment is accepted by buyers. An example of this kind of business is a post office. These are considered to be safe, have government support, an exclusive area, no competition, and only trade for 5 days. Therefore, these businesses have a return of around 20% or 5 times the earnings. A riskier type of business is a cafe. These are considered to be less safe and therefore a greater risk applies. A cafe buyer will expect a 50% return on investment or 2 times earnings. So if the post office and cafe are both earning $100,000 a year, the cafe will sell for around $200,000, which is a 50% return, and the post office will sell for $500,000, which is a 20% return. Be aware that the business in capital cities will be more valuable than in rural areas. Many specific industries have particular rules that apply to what they sell for. These are known as rules of thumb. So examples, news agencies, taxis, childcare centres, supermarkets, franchises and rent rolls. Experienced business brokers, accountants and financiers will be aware of the market forces and what a business should be worth. It is recommended that you always seek guidance from a qualified professional to assess the value of the business that you are selling. As mentioned previously, it is critical that you set the right asking price at the start of the process. So when looking at the value of the business, the hardest part of the value to assess is the goodwill. Stock and equipment value is easy, but goodwill is the part that needs to be properly considered. So what are the 3 types of goodwill that a business possesses? 1, which is personal goodwill. 2, locational goodwill. 3, commercial goodwill. So which of these 3 forms of goodwill does your business possess? If it is all personal goodwill, you will not be able to sell your business for a high price. But if you can plan and structure your business to become a business with high commercial goodwill or value, you'll be able to sell for a maximum price. This series of tips is aimed to help business owners to shift the value of their business from personal and location to commercial goodwill. This way it won't matter who owns the business, where it operates from, and the market will see the value in the business. That's tip number 6.
Excellent. Look, guys, at the end of the day, I'd say plan. You know, if you want to sell your business for $1 million, ask someone, right, what do I need to do to get my business so I can sell it for $1 million? And then that will give you a plan. You'll know how much revenue you need to generate. You'll know what you need to do in it. And off you go from there. I just think that's very, very, very important. All right, Kay, can we just spend a couple of minutes on TENURE? Because this is all about your assets and all of that type of stuff. So if we can just
Yeah.
spend only a
So
couple of
we're
minutes on this one,
starting to run out of time.
we'll run out of time.
Secure your tenure. There are three basic things being offered when a business is sold. Your tangible assets, such as plant and equipment, stock, fixtures, etc. Your intangible assets, which is goodwill and intellectual property, and future maintainable earnings, or a degree of certainty. The main the main thing for the future earnings needs to be assured and proven to a business buyer and their financier. One of the main things that underpins this maintainability is secure tenure. Usually, a secure lease with an adequate amount of time left to run until the lease expires is the thing needed to provide a degree of certainty about the future income stream. Maximum value can usually be achieved by having the longest, most secure lease in place when offering a business for sale. So don't be afraid to take up an option or get a new lease. It is essential to get the maximum tenure in place before the business is offered for sale, as the uncertainty of having a buyer trying to secure a new lease or option will make the sale doubtful and complicated. So many business owners are unsure about whether they should renew a lease or take up an option on a lease before selling a business, as they feel the new owner may not want to remain at the same location. It is usually better to have the lease. In fact, it is a good general rule that you should operate the business as you would if you were going to continue owning the business in the future. If you own a business and the freehold property, there are many advantages and benefits to be derived from arranging a lease between the business and the property owner. For example, you can sell the business and continue to own the property and either enjoy the passive rental income or sell it to an investor. There's also very good GST issues and possible benefits from having such a lease in place when selling your business. The most profitable business in the world won't sell if there's no guarantee that it will be able to continue trading as it is in the future. Certain tenure assists in providing maintainability. That's tip number 7.
Um, Guys, what I'm going to do, Kay's written some amazing detailed notes and put it in a really good format. So I might skip over tip number 8 if that's okay, Kay, with you, because reality is, if you plan to have a passive income for your business, you should be working on that every day or every week, or have that plan in place to get where you need to. Most of us just spin the wheels and just turn up to work, do our job, come home, and repeat, repeat, repeat for the next 10 years. Ideally, you've got to prepare for this is what I ultimately want. And it takes time to actually get there. But as long as you've got that end goal in mind, very, very, very important. So, what I might do, Kay, because we've only got about 8 minutes left, if we can just skip over a couple of points. Again, everyone will be getting a copy of the notes that Kay's prepared to really, and they're really actually detailed, guys. There's some really, really good points in there. Um, at the end of the day, Kay, did you want to do? We'll just do 9 and 10, or we might just do number 10. I think that one's probably going to be the best one. Guys, number
Okay.
9 is should you spend or not spend? Um, you know, I don't know, Kay. Your thoughts on that, just in summary? Should you spend or
Look,
not spend?
you should continue to spend. A lot of people decide to, when they make the decision to sell, they stop spending. But a business can take a long time to sell. It's not a simple transaction. It's a process. In our case, it took 18 months for our business to sell. Had we have not spent in that time on, systems and marketing, etc., we would have had, our figures would have just been in decline. So it's important to just keep, probably even do better than and spend a little bit more than what you normally would to get your figures up.
So I'm going to ask the guys a question here and raise your hands, and I'm going to be very interested in this response. Raise your hands. Who's done their budget for 2015 financial year, uploaded into their accounting system, and they plan to actually look at it every single month? Who's actually done that to this date? Let me see a raise of hands, guys. I've lost my mouse. There we go. Oh dear. Okay, so I either have. Oh, there's good. Thank you. Um, Okay, long and short of it is, guys, if you want to get the most value out of your business, I agree. I think you still need to spend, but I think you need to spend to a budget. It is now the new financial year, guys. Find out how much revenue you need to have, check your break evens, how much money do you need to bring in every single month, because once you know those figures, you can actually really take control of what's happening with your finances. And I think that's one of the biggest problems businesses have these days is they don't take control of their finances. They're too busy servicing customers and not actually looking at where their finances is at. So I would definitely be putting your budgets in place, guys. I think it's extremely important. And if you want a budget spreadsheet, I'm happy to actually give you one. It's absolutely awesome. I'll tell you your budget right down to how much you need to bring in on a day, including loans, liabilities, capital acquisitions for the future, and the whole lot. So I think that yes, you need to spend. And tip number 10K.
Having a plan, like planning ahead, gives you the control. It makes it realistic. Simple plans, you can take control of your business and your life. The saying is true: failing to plan is planning to fail. So look at what your exit plan might be. Have the business valued by a qualified broker. Calculate the current net worth. Plan dates and times for exit and project net realization on sale. Formulate a plan and regular check progress and performance against the plan. Because what happens is a lot of business owners, once they make the decision to sell, there's usually good reasons for that. They might be, they've had enough, or it might be an illness, or I cannot stress enough. You need to be planning now. You may not think, oh, um, I might sell my business in the next couple of months. You need to start now for the next couple of years.
Guys, I mentioned Monday motivation that I had with my clients yesterday, and we brought up the fact of, have you got your KPIs in place? Do you check your budgets? Do you check all of that? And reality is, it's all about getting a routine in place. If you've ever done an education course called Money and You, they outline it extremely well on what you need to do to actually grow a business, and that is to continue doing what you're doing, but making sure that your plan that you're actually following is what you need to do. So if you go and make $1, go and put 10 cents in your pocket and then pay all your bills with the 90 cents. And this is Richest Man in Babylon talks about that theory as well for savings and assets. Take your 10 cents, put it in your pocket, go and make your next little bread, put that next 10 cents in your pocket, and grow your business that way. Then you put team on, then you have the money to invest in IP. And this is a long term strategy. And one of the things that I always do with clients is get people like Kay in when we first get into the business, just to see what the value is at the moment. Why? Because it either gives you a good kick up the butt to say, hey, we need to actually be better, or vice versa. It goes, wow, it's actually worth that much. Great. How do we actually take it to the next step? And then I work closely with Kay, and sit there and go, okay, what we need to do is this, and this over the next 2 years. And if this is a strategy where you need to get to, this is where we're actually at. And this is all about a plan, to actually move forward. So, guys, it's very important to have that strategy in place. To make sure that you're actually heading in the right direction of what you actually want to achieve, and we can go from there. Now, guys, I won't worry about the next tip. I just want to talk to you about where to from here. And, at the end of the day, business is a risk, like anything else, and you do need to take a leap every now and then. And guys, if you want from here, Kay is more than happy to come out and have a chat to you. Find out exactly where your business is at the moment. No pressure selling. I've known Kay a very long time. You'll not sit there and go, oh, you're ready to sell, let's go and do it. No, she'll come out, she'll evaluate your business, find out what it is actually worth, give you a realistic value to, as I mentioned before, give you a kick up the butt, says why I need to actually do some stuff, or give you the strategies on what you need to do to make it a saleable business, what you need to put in place. And I know one of the biggest strategies I did for Kay and her old business was put a very good CRM in place. And that was a huge thing that needed to be done, because selling a business just isn't about the revenue figures. It's also about, what does your database look like? And I think at the time, Kay, in your old business, you had I don't know, 20 or 30,000 contacts in
Yeah.
your database that weren't actually anywhere. So, you know, Kay will actually give you all of those items and take you through where it's at, what you need to do, and give you a pretty much a 5 year plan on what you need to actually focus on. And that's extremely important to have. Kay, would you actually do you want to add any more to that, or?
No, I'm just happy to have a free consultation, consultation with anyone that wants to catch up, because everyone's at different levels within their business. And look, a business will sell if it's priced properly, the financials are provided, all the business information and data is properly documented, and it's advertised properly. So it's a long process, and it can be quite daunting. Having been through it myself, I'm happy to share how I've been able to get through and successfully sell my business, and now helping others, which is my passion, is helping people sell their business. So yeah, I'm proof of that. So
Excellent.
happy to contact and sit with anyone that needs my help.
All right, I need one thing more from you guys. Can you write in the questions, number one thing you got from today? What is it that you got from today? And we'll go from there. Um, the answer, Sarah, to answer your question is I'm sure Kay can actually do some Skype calls with you. I've been asked if you'll visit Melbourne, Kay. I'll let you answer that one. Is that a yes? Do you visit Melbourne, Kay, or would you like to do Skype
Oh,
calls?
look, yeah, yeah, look, I'm happy to take this offline
Have a chat to
and
Sarah.
yeah, have a
All
chat to
right,
Sarah.
we'll do that. All right, number one thing from today, guys. Okay, the need to separate yourself from the business, and if that is not possible, having the IP documented. Um, Anyone else? Number one thing from today. Guys, we're talking about time management and productivity. A lot of people wanted to talk about that. I'm happy to actually do another quick session on productivity in the next week. If you came to the Kitchen Table Network at Brisbane West a few weeks ago, I did a very good different time management. I didn't talk about what you need to do. I talked about what you don't need to do for time management. So I'm happy to do a quick half an hour session next week if you want on that. Um, Great. Um, Okay, so wasn't sure if you need to sign a new lease, but now we will. Great, excellent, good to see that. Look at what the buyer wants. Would you look at it if you were buying it? Absolutely. I think that's a key critical part. Have a plan, put all revenue through the books. Guys, look, appreciate your time. What's going to happen from here? I'm going to send you out an email with Kay's details if you do need anything. We will get the recording up so you can go back and listen to anything, and we'll also send you Kay's notes that she's got there. So we'll put them into a decent format for you and get that out over the next couple of days. So, guys, I wish you an awesome week ahead. Looking forward to seeing what you can do in your business. And Kay, I want to welcome you to the Black Belt business community and thank you for being a part of today and sharing your awesome knowledge on what you need to do. So,
It's
um,
been an absolute pleasure.
have a great week, all, and I will catch up with you shortly. I'm looking forward to the next webinar, by the way, guys. I'm keen to do something on that. All right, have fun for now, and we will talk soon. All right, have a great day.
Bye.